In a world where billionaires compete to be seen, there exists one who built his empire in the shadows. No Forbes interviews, no public shareholder meetings, no luxury home tours on architectural magazines, just silence, secrecy, and whispers of unimaginable wealth hidden behind one of the most closed borders on Earth. While the citizens of his country face chronic shortages, he is believed to command a fortune that rivals the elite of Silicon Valley and Wall Street. The question is not whether he is rich, the question is how rich, and more intriguingly, how does a man who leads one of the most isolated nations in the world quietly accumulate billions? Tonight, we step inside the hidden luxury world of Kim Jong Un, a ruler whose estimated $5 billion fortune may only be the surface of something far larger. When we talk about wealth at this level, we are not discussing celebrity endorsements or tech startups. We are discussing control, absolute control. Unlike traditional billionaires who build companies, Kim inherited a system designed to centralize power at the top. As the supreme leader of North Korea, he doesn't merely influence the economy, he effectively commands it. Mineral exports, state-run factories, weapons development programs, foreign labor contracts, and strategic trade partnerships all operate within a tightly controlled loyalty structure. In many ways, the country itself functions as a vertically integrated enterprise, and he sits at the center of its financial web. Estimates dating back over a decade suggest his personal net worth stands at approximately $5 billion. However, experts consistently warn that this figure may be a conservative baseline. Intelligence assessments indicate that tracking his wealth is extraordinarily difficult due to the regime's complex network of shell companies, intermediaries, and offshore arrangements. In traditional markets, wealth leaves a paper trail. Here, the paper trail disappears before it can even be written. A significant portion of his fortune is believed to be hidden across more than 200 foreign bank accounts. These accounts are reportedly spread through financial institutions in countries such as China, Switzerland, and various Southeast Asian jurisdictions. Funds are often held under different names, layered through holding entities and proxies. In the world of discrete wealth preservation, this strategy isn't new, but rarely is it executed at such geopolitical scale. When billions are distributed across continents under layers of anonymity, verifying the total becomes nearly impossible. But wealth, especially extreme wealth, eventually reveals itself through lifestyle, and this is where the contrast becomes stark. International sanctions have tightened around North Korea for years, aimed at restricting access to luxury goods and financial networks. Yet reports consistently indicate that Kim maintains a life of exceptional comfort. Private aircraft, luxury automobiles, high-end imported delicacies, exclusive compounds scattered throughout the country. The paradox is striking. Isolation on the global stage gents behind closed gates. One of the most frequently discussed assets is his private yacht, reportedly valued at around $7 million. In a nation where many citizens lack basic access to goods, a luxury yacht becomes more than a recreational purchase, it becomes a symbol of separation. Yachts represent freedom, exclusivity, and leisure. They represent the ability to disconnect from land and retreat into a private floating sanctuary. For global billionaires, it's common. For a leader of a sanctioned state, it's extraordinary. Then there are the vehicles. High-security convoys often feature imported limousines from brands like Mercedes-Benz. These are not simply cars, they are armored symbols of authority. Custom interiors, advanced security reinforcements, and discrete modifications elevate them into mobile command centers. Luxury vehicles in this context are not about performance or style alone, they project power, stability, and prestige. Aviation adds another dimension. Private jets are often associated with business magnates and global elites. They eliminate commercial schedules, create privacy, and signal autonomy. Reports suggest that Kim maintains access to high-end aircraft for state and personal travel. In elite circles, aviation ownership marks entry into a tier where time becomes the most valuable asset. When every minute can be reclaimed from airport terminals and security lines, mobility transforms into dominance. Some intelligence sources have estimated that his annual luxury expenditures may reach as high as $600 million. To place that into perspective, this is not total state spending. This is believed to reflect personal or elite-level expenditures tied directly to lifestyle and privilege. That scale of spending aligns more with ultra-high net worth individuals who maintain global estates, fleets, and private security teams. It suggests a financial reservoir capable of sustaining extravagant consumption year after year. Yet unlike Western billionaires who diversify into tech ventures, art collections, or venture capital funds, his wealth appears intertwined with state mechanisms. Control of mining industries, particularly rare minerals, is believed to be a significant revenue stream. These resources, highly valued in global supply chains, can be traded through indirect channels. In geopolitics, minerals often equal leverage. Leverage equals bargaining power, and bargaining power can quietly translate into financial advantage. Another dimension of hidden wealth lies in overseas labor programs. For years, North Korean laborers have worked abroad under state arrangements, generating foreign currency that flows back through controlled pipelines. While official figures are opaque, these operations have historically served as foreign exchange channels. In a tightly controlled regime, hard currency is not merely income, it is strategic oxygen. The secrecy surrounding his finances has, paradoxically, amplified the mystique. Luxury thrives on exclusivity. In most cases, exclusivity is manufactured through limited editions, invitation-only events, and private memberships. In this case, Exclusivity is enforced by national borders and state secrecy. The world cannot verify his full holdings, cannot audit his accounts, cannot access his estates. The mystery itself becomes part of the narrative. And yet, beyond the numbers, there is the psychology of power. Extreme wealth in authoritarian systems often functions differently than in capitalist democracies. In Silicon Valley, wealth signals innovation. In Hollywood, it signals success. In authoritarian leadership, wealth signals control and loyalty reinforcement. Financial resources are tools to maintain allegiance among elites. Luxury goods become rewards. Access becomes currency. In such a structure, wealth is both shield and sword. Consider the symbolism of imported goods under sanctions. When luxury watches, premium spirits, or high-end vehicles appear despite restrictions, they send a message internally: the system remains capable. Capability reinforces authority. Authority reinforces stability. Stability preserves control. In that cycle, wealth becomes political architecture. At the same time, international sanctions aim to constrict these very channels. Financial tracking systems attempt to identify shell companies. Intelligence agencies monitor suspicious transfers. Diplomatic pressure seeks to limit access to global markets. This ongoing tension between concealment and exposure adds another layer of intrigue to the fortune. Unlike traditional billionaires, whose net worth fluctuates publicly with stock prices, his wealth does not appear on any exchange ticker. There are no quarterly earnings reports, no investor calls, no sudden drops after market crashes. Instead, valuation relies on intelligence estimates, defector testimony, and investigative journalism. It is wealth that exists in shadows rather than spreadsheets, and shadows create speculation. Is $5 billion the ceiling, or merely the floor? If mineral reserves expand in value, if covert trading routes strengthen, if foreign accounts accumulate interest quietly over decades, the total could be significantly higher. Experts consistently emphasize that any figure is speculative. In secrecy, underestimation is often safer than overstatement. Yet one truth remains consistent: the lifestyle aligns with multi-billionaire status. Private compounds reportedly feature swimming facilities, entertainment spaces, and secure perimeters. These estates function as fortified luxury retreats. While details are scarce, satellite imagery has occasionally revealed expansive properties. In elite real estate globally, scale equals status. The larger and more secure the estate, the clearer the message. What makes this story especially compelling for luxury observers is the contrast between visibility and invisibility. Western billionaires often showcase philanthropic foundations, art acquisitions, or tech innovations. Here, the brand is not personal charisma, it is mystique. In the luxury world, mystery can be more powerful than display. It is also important to understand inheritance. Kim Jong Un inherited not just political authority but access to networks built over decades by his predecessors. Financial channels, established during earlier administrations, likely evolved rather than disappeared. Wealth compounds across generations, especially when shielded from public oversight. There is also the matter of global perception. Being labeled a billionaire by international observers adds an unintended layer of status. While the political implications are complex, from a pure wealth narrative standpoint, the classification places him among global financial elites. Yet unlike tech founders or oil magnates, his empire operates beyond conventional corporate frameworks. Luxury at this scale is less about comfort and more about insulation. Insulation from instability, insulation from threats, insulation from vulnerability. Private jets ensure mobility. Secure compounds ensure protection. Foreign accounts ensure liquidity. These are not random indulgences, they are strategic safeguards. In elite financial circles, diversification is a rule. Spreading assets across countries like China and Switzerland reduces exposure to any single point of failure. It also complicates international enforcement. This web of accounts acts as both vault and labyrinth. Following the money becomes a geopolitical puzzle. For viewers fascinated by wealth, the intrigue lies not just in yachts and cars but in architecture of secrecy. How do funds move undetected? How are luxury goods imported under sanction regimes? How are intermediaries structured? These questions blur the line between luxury documentary and financial thriller. And yet, amid all speculation, one reality stands firm: the exact figure remains unknowable. There is no verified audit, no official declaration, only layered intelligence assessments and investigative estimates. But consistent placement in multi-billionaire territory signals magnitude beyond doubt. Ultimately, the story of Kim Jong Un's wealth is not just about numbers. It is about contrast. A nation of controlled resources and limited external transparency paired with a leader believed to command billions. It is about luxury existing behind one of the most restrictive borders in modern history. It is about private jets flying over sanctioned airspace. It is about hidden bank accounts stretching across continents. In the end, wealth can manifest in two ways: loudly or silently. Some billionaires build skyscrapers with their names in gold lettering. Others build networks invisible to the public eye. Kim Jong Un represents the latter, a fortune concealed within political power, shielded by secrecy, and reinforced by control. And perhaps that is the most fascinating luxury of all. Not the yacht, not the limousine, not even the billions, but the ability to possess extraordinary wealth without ever having to display it to the world.